Alright guys, we did that big job last week and I showed you that, and this thing ran flawless. You know, I had the surgeon that I put on here and I was looking for help. Didn't have any issues. Last week. Got it on and off 4 days in a row. Go to do a house wash today and the dang thing won't even start. And I pulled and I pulled and I pulled and I pulled and this thing wouldn't start. And I finally ended up having to wad my t-shirt up into my trigger gun and keep it open just to relieve the pressure. It was like there was too much pressure on the pump, and I don't know why that is. I ran plenty of water through it to make sure that I didn't have any air bubbles, and there was like a ton of rust came out of it from the homeowner's house. But yeah, just a ton of pressure, and it was a freaking nightmare. One thing I can't stand to do is pull on something to get it started, and that's all it was, just pulling, and it was hot. I was getting aggravated, you know how we do. And then it's like there was some gas coming out the front of it. I'm pulling it, and it was making like gas drip out, like I had gas dripping out this area right here, right in here, and I don't know why. But once I kept that trigger open, it took the pressure off of it, and it took about 5 more minutes of me pulling, and it finally started. But then it did the same thing, all the crazy up and down surging. You know, it did all that, and then it's like it just did like the other times. It finally cleared out, and it ran flawlessly. Well, I'm sitting there going about my business, downstreaming, and I keep hearing, you know, like a fizzing sound through the gun. And I had that happen before when I used to get down to like the bottom, and it's like sucking a lot of air, and I knew what that was. But I was like, I know that's not the case, because, you know, I got plenty of mix today. Well, come to find out, I had to take this hose off when I did that job last week, because I was taking the machine off to unhook it. Well, that barb goes to right here, and I'd only had that hose pushed about right there, and I thought that's gonna be good enough, and I was wrong. So I come back over to the truck. I'm looking to see if maybe the drop tube broke. I don't know what's going on. And where I had pulled siphon with this, and then the tube came off, it was just streaming out right here in the truck. So I end up flooding this. Ain't no telling how much chemical I lost. But yeah, I was like, well, this sucks. Hooked it back up, ran great the rest of the day, no problems. Well, I come out the last 2 or 3 times I've been out here doing batch mixing, getting a batch ready. Come out and I smell bleach the next day, and I'll have bleach coming out of my hose, which is like coming out of the pump. And I don't understand, because the valve's closed off. Every time I batch mix, I always run the water through second, that way it rinses the pump. And so the only thing is from here to here in that valve, and if it's turned this way, it's going to the pump. Well, yesterday we go out to eat, come back, smell bleach. Like, what's up with that? Come over here, hit the pump, and like it was completely full. So I think this valve, even though it should just be an on and off, and there shouldn't be anything in there to let it bypass, I think it is. Even though it's a Banjo and it's a good valve, I'm pretty sure that my valve was leaking. Now, I do know a few times I've barely had this cracked, not, you know, thinking I had it all the way up, and it would leak out back here. So I just ordered another valve. I said, we'll see if that works or not, because it was just leaking out of here, leaking out the front, and the only way it had anything to leak out was if this wasn't cutting off like it should, that valve. They have some that's like yellow, and it has a shut off on it, and it's like bigger on one side than the other, but this one has done me well. for the last year and a half, so I'm just going to replace it with what I have. It's already on my rig, looks like it needs to, fits where it needs to, and so when that comes in, we'll see if I have any more issues. I've been leaving the bucket here just to see if anything comes out. Like overnight tonight, I had, you know, probably right here, it had leaked out. So got a full batch right there. Guys, we had all week last week booked, got all week this week, and into the end of next week. So really blessed, really pleased, and grateful and thankful and all those things for the jobs that we've been given. So that's my time for today. We'll catch you next time.